Today, we're going to be looking at the difference between continuous and discrete data on a graph. You do have data collected here. For my first example, I have hours of online schoolwork. And for my other one, I have growth of a fern in May. You can see that there is a difference between the graphs in the fact that one has lines in between and the other one doesn't have lines in between the data. And there is a reason for that. This one, hours of online schoolwork, is what we call discrete data. It means that there's nothing in between them. So, therefore, there shouldn't be a line of growth or a line of decrease because there's nothing in between the weeks. It's either week one or week two. You can see that week one, we started out right at 3 hours, whereas week two, it went up between 6 to 8 hours, closer to six, so about 6.5 hours. Week three is at 4 hours, and then week four went back up again about 5 hours, 30 minutes, or 5 hours, 45 minutes. But there's nothing in between that data. You're either in week one or you're in week two. For my second example, this is what we call continuous data. So there's something in between there. The growth of a fern, it doesn't just go from 6 centimeters to 38 centimeters without being some type of growth in between there. And you can actually be able to then measure it. The great thing about having continuous data is you can see where here between these few days, it grew a lot. Whereas down here in between these 2 days, it didn't grow as much. But it shows that so that we can even see what happened on May 9th, let's say. We are able to then go closer just behind May 10th and look at what happened on that day as well. But that's because there's growth in between the actual data that was taken. And that's why it's called continuous. So discrete, there's no growth in between. It's either this or it's that. Continuous is that there is something going on in between the data collecting. It can be growth, but again, it could also be decrease. It just depends on what it is. But there is something going on in between the data that was collected.